Hi everyone, Sarah here from Sarah Homfray Embroidery with a really interesting stitch for you today for our little stitch samplers. So we're doing this project here. Hope you're stitching along with me. If you're not, I'll put a link up to the video, the playlist with all the videos for this project in it. You can join in stitch along with me. So we're going to look at turkey rug stitch. So this is going to make a really nice, interesting textural stitch. We've done fairly sort of flat ones so far, some with a little bit of texture in them, but nothing quite like this one. So I'm going to show you the basic stitch on its own. Then I'll show you what you can do with it, how you can put it together and make some different effects with it. So this is what it looks like. And I've just done this in the perle thread. But this works really nicely in a woolen thread because it's going to fluff up and we can do lots of exciting things. So I'm going to use this crewel thread now. It's crewel wool, so C-R-E-W-E-L, crewel wool, and this is going to be really nice for this stitch. And this is the only stitch I know, I think, that actually doesn't start with a knot and two and either weaving it through or two small stitches. However you want to start your thread, you can just start from the top without putting any starting method in at all. So I'm just going to show you the single stitch. So I'm going to go down from the top. That's going to be the middle of my stitch. I'm just going to hold that out of the way with my finger. I will show you the left-handed version as well if you're a left-handed stitcher. And I'm just going to come up to the left of that, and then I'm going to make a loop over the top. And I'm going to go down to the right of that central stitch, but just leaving a little gap there. And then I'm going to take my needle through. Now I'm not going to pull that tight, so at the moment I've got one at the bottom and one at the top. I'm going to come back up in the middle of those, so next to that first one, where I went down in the middle. And you can see that loop at the top. That's important because when I pull it tight, that's going to be the little stitch that holds my two little tails down. And what you can actually do is cut that off at this point. So that is a single turkey rug stitch, and you can do that again. So this is the middle of the stitch, holding that little tail down towards me, come up to the left, and you see what happens now is it joins up with that one on the left hand side. We can make a row of these stitches going down to the right. Don't pull that all the way through though, because you won't have that little stitch to hold it down. I'm going to come back up in the middle underneath that loop, and then I can pull it tight, and then I've got my second stitch. You don't need to cut every single one, you can just carry on with the row if you like. So that will be the middle of the next stitch. There's a little loop at the bottom, come up to the left, which is the end of the previous stitch, down to the right. Make sure there's a loop at the top. So at this stage I've got a loop at the bottom and a loop at the top, and I'm going to come up between them. So one's going up, one's going down, and then I can let go of the top one and I can pull that tight. I can just make a whole row of those. If you want your loops to be a particular length, if you didn't want to cut it and you're going to leave the loops in, you could actually do that over something. You could get a pencil or something like that, and so all your loops are the same size and you can keep the loops in. But I'm actually going to cut the loops because I want to show you what you can do with that. So when you've done your last stitch, you can go right to the end of your thread. You can just cut that level, and then you can put your scissors in each loop and you just pull it up and snip through the ends. And that will give you a nice row of texture. So you can leave the loops in if you want to. And then you can see it sort of go a bit fluffy. Compared to this one, you can see the loops there. I've left the loops in. You can see this one start to go a little bit fluffy. The threads will separate out, and you can start to get this really nice texture with it. Now you can build these layers up now, and you can fill in an area with this and get this beautiful amazing texture. I'll show you a couple of samples in a second. So if you want to do another row, you need to do it on top. If you imagine now going underneath that and trying to stitch underneath, these are all going to get in the way. So if you're going to fill an area in, start from the bottom and work up the shape so each row is on top of the previous row, and I'll demonstrate that here. And what you can do as well is you can just go in between those ones. So there's a little tail that's going to go over that previous row. I can hold that down. There's a little loop at the top, going to come up in the middle, pull it tight. If I just cut that one, that's a single stitch. You can see how this starts to build up with the layers. You can see now how it might get a little bit fluffy. So I'm going to carry on with a couple more so you can see what that looks like. So I've just done 2 rows there, and you can already see the effect that this is having. And then if you want to just trim that and give it a haircut, you can make them all the same length and smarten it up a little bit, and then you can just run your scissors or a needle through those, just separate the threads, and that'll go nice and fluffy. So I'm just going to show you how to do it if you're left-handed, and then I'll show you the samples that you can do with this. So I've gone from left to right, so if you're left-handed you might want to consider going right to left instead. So there's the middle. I'm going to do this in the perlé just so you can see the difference between the two. And instead of coming up now to the left, you can come up to the right. You're just mirroring everything I've done, but it's exactly the same. It's going to form the stitch in exactly the same way. You won't be able to see a difference. And then come up in the middle. You can let go of that loop. You can pull it tight, then go to the left of that. Hold that little loop down there. Come up to the right, so you're coming up where that previous one finished really. So I'm just mirroring that and back up in the middle. Let that go. So it's not difficult to switch this one around. And you can cut that off, and you can build up your rows like that. So just going to show you that as well in a stranded cotton on the handheld sampler, because it's just as easy, because you don't have to do any starting. You can just start from the top. There's my little tail end. If I'm right-handed, I'm going to go left to right, so I'm going to come up to the left, go down to the right, back up in the middle, there's the tail of the next one, so I can go to the right, back up at the end of the previous one, make my little loop around the top, to the right. Don't pull that loop all the way through because you'll lose a little holding stitch, and back up in the middle like so. If I just cut that loop there, you can see those individual stitches. I'll cut that one as well. So if you just want a couple of little tufts, if you were putting grass on something, a little bit tufty grass, these would be great. You can do them the other way up so the tufts stick upwards. But I just want to show you what happens with the stranded cotton, because it separates to stitch with. This separates really easily, but it doesn't sort of fluff up like the wool does. So you can get some quite different effects. If you want more grass-like effects, this one is really good for that, because it won't go all fluffy. So they will do different things, and if I just show you that on a couple of pieces, you'll see that you'll see the difference between the two. So this is my little three-dimensional bumblebee here, and I've used that stitch in here with the stranded cotton, and you can see I've done it in stripes. So if you want to shade it, you can change your colour literally every stitch if you want to. You can have a couple of needles going and you can get some really beautiful effects in there. And I've done the yellow and the black obviously for his body, and you can sort of shape it so they're a bit longer in the middle than they are around the edge, so you can get a nice curve on it if you want to, depending on how you want to cut that. And you can just fluff him up with a needle if he gets a little bit flat. So that's what it looks like in the stranded cotton. So that gives a really nice texture. And this is what it looks like in the wool, so the same crewel wool that I've shown you before. And I've made this little hedge around this little flower sampler design here, and I've just put loads and loads of rows in, packed them in really tightly, and you can see how fluffy this goes. You can't even see that those are stitches. It gives you like a pile, like a rug pile, which is where the word comes from, Turkish rug stitch, so turkey rug. So the pile from the rug, you may have heard it called turkey work. I think in the US you call it turkey work, but that's where it comes from, Turkish rug stitch, so it looks like a Turkish rug. And you can see that beautiful texture that makes there, and I've made these little hedges out of it. So depending on what thread you use, you can get some really different textures and different techniques that you can use this stitch for. So that's a really fun stitch to have a play with and have a go with that one. If you want to see some more textural stitches and you want to try out this little band sampler, the playlist is up here. You can go and click on that and you can see all the stitches we've done so far, and you can join in and stitch along with me. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, always appreciated, and I'll see you next time.